Welcome, lovely water signs or people with water as a dominant element in their chart. You have reached the oracle of the feather crown tree. I'm going to do your elemental reading for the week. This reading is a 5-card reading. The center card is what I'm going to start with. It represents the will, and then I'll look at the other directions, which all represent a different element in the reading. I'm going to start with a very literal book read reading to begin with, and then I will do a brief intuitive interpretation, which may or may not relate to what the books say. So let's begin with this first card, that's seduction. This is the motivating force, sort of the hidden, uncontrollable force that wants to create for you this week through the other elements. So, in the center, the first woman, Eve, is plucking the apple from the tree of knowledge. Before her is the constellation Cassiopeia, associated by Kabbalists with a second tarot trump, the High Priestess. Heart and flowers represent the mundane view of love. Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, and people with this planet sign position develop and improve life by championing the underdog and those less fortunate than themselves. Care, as always, with the sympathetic Piscean needs to be taken not to be undiscriminating in this respect, as people with this aspect could be susceptible to others taking advantage. Jupiter Pisceans are extremely sensitive to those around them and may even have some psychic ability. Whether they do or not, some mystical or higher path will play an important part in their life. They develop a strong interest in the inner spiritual path through seclusion and meditation, and mysticism and religious thought will be important. The emotional satisfaction that Jupiter Pisces people derive from helping others may be a very deep and fulfilling experience. And though their work may be behind the scenes, it will be appreciated. People with this card are described as vulnerable to deception from those who seek to take advantage of their caring and sensitive nature. In its most negative aspect, this combination indicates people whose sensitivity to others and desire to please leads them into being seduced by any and every exploiter. This card is warning that everything may not be as it appears, and that someone is being seduced for ulterior motives. Events associated here are the victim of a hard luck story, sacrificing a great deal for someone who is loved, having the intuition and ability to sense what another person wants. Let's have a look over to the east, and we're going to take a card from the Dragon Oracle. This position is representing fire. It's related to your passions and your spirituality. Orange Dragon brings soul families and communities together. Spread belonging, warmth, and oneness. Bring people everywhere together. When you pick this card, your guidance is to see the divine light in everyone. Look for the bonds that link you. The orange dragons will help you to spread their light of warmth, welcome, and acceptance to all peoples, races, and cultures. Let that light shine through you. You will feel a sense of belonging and oneness, and your heart will open. This will help you to develop your abilities of higher manifestation. When you visualize the peoples and animals of the world coming together in harmony and acceptance, orange dragons will flood your vision with their light. Archangel Metatron himself will then take it to energize the plan for Earth. So hold the highest vision for the golden age that is being prepared, and do your part to bring your community and the world into spiritual accord. This is a message of higher peace. And let's have a look with the emotions for you this week in the southern position and the element of water. We're taking a card from the Hawaiian Oracle, and we have Pu'olo. This means bundle, and the theme around this card is release. Bundles remind you to take care of matters that need your attention and let go of those that do not. This may be the time to focus on taking care of yourself. Be careful not to place too much attention on the past or on the problems of others, because it may interfere with taking care of your own responsibilities or a more important situation. Pu'olo may also remind you that anything or anyone you attempt to possess or control could end up possessing or controlling you instead. Resist the temptation to control others, even by rescuing them. Like the night marchers, we sometimes travel the same paths over and over, unable to change our route. We often walk trails that lead us to repeat undesirable experiences because unresolved regrets, anger, and disappointments act like ghosts that overshadow our ability to explore new routes and experience new outcomes. Insanity has been described as doing the same thing over and over again, while hoping for different things to happen. When this card appears, it is time to release your burdens by replacing them with positive affirmations and actions. Let go of anything or anyone that does not support your higher purpose. And moving on, we're going to take a little gander in the west position, representing Earth and all things physical in your life. We're taking this from an Aboriginal deck, and you have mullet, community, which relates to the fire position for sure. This is a fish of coastal waters and estuaries. Every year they gather in the local river and together form great circles in the water. These great circles contain hundreds of fish feeding and spawning. This fish represents community, large gatherings, and celebrations. It reminds you that you are part of a community and that at times you will crave the company of others. It celebrates time spent with family, friends, and groups of like-minded people. Now would be a good time to plan a get-together with a group of people, perhaps host a gathering at your place or in your local community. This fish also reminds you of the continuity of the seasons, of the times when you crave the company of others, and the times when you wish to retreat and spend time in quiet solace on your own. Because this fish is very resilient and quite plentiful, it is also associated with fertility, pregnancy, and marriage. Any of those celebrations that involve growing together and sharing with one another. When the rings of this fish show up, it's time to enjoy time with your soul family and acknowledge your place in the wider community. Share meals, introduce yourself to the neighbors, and see if there is anywhere in your local area where you could volunteer your time or talents to help your community. And our last card in that north position is representing air. This is about communication and your thoughts. And you have Ocelot from the Aztec deck. This card is representing secrets, hidden things, mysterious, the unknown. In most occult matters, secrecy is a well-respected tenet. In fact, the word occult comes from the Latin occultus, which means to conceal or cover up. Whatever issue has brought you Ocelot in your reading, it must be handled with delicacy and discretion. Secrecy is not necessarily a nefarious thing. There are many good reasons for keeping things out of the public eye. The U.S. government, like all governments, has an intricate system of classifying documents that are not to be released to the general public. New or innovative technologies must remain secret while in the developmental stage, a risk being stolen by a competitor. The details of investigations into criminal matters must remain secret while the perpetrators are still at large. The same can be true for an individual. If one has set a personal goal, that goal is sometimes best kept to oneself so that its energy manifests not only in mere talk, but in action. It may be that you need to protect your goal from those who would try to discourage you or undermine your efforts. Every thought does not require vocalization. If Ocelot has shown up in your cards, it could be reminding you that there are aspects of the situation that you are still unaware of, and that perhaps Ocelot will be willing to help you discover some of them. This animal is a wonderful teacher of things unknown. The word please also works nicely when trying to enlist the help of Ocelot. Okay, water signs, let's take a little look at what I'm picking up in a more intuitive way for you. I do see a lot of visual rhyming here, especially in the east and west and north position. We have these sort of dots. I see it in the bridge where the dragon is sitting, in the leopard's fur, and then in the school of fish. So in some way these are very connected with one another. We also have the same imagery, a little constellation in the center card, and that in the sky, the stars above the Ocelot as well. At the center of the reading, there is this strong feminine energy that seems a little bit destitute. She was once healthy, once really well taken care of, and there's a sense that she's almost injured and moving more towards a place of not such good health. She's focused on something from the earth that she's picked up, a stone that maybe has hurt her, something that she's stepped on that used to be so familiar to her when she stepped, something that no longer is what it used to be. She used to walk on soft earth, and now everything is bumpy and stony and more difficult. So she's examining this, but not in a way that necessarily makes her feel good. She's sort of looking down and concerned. And around her, she's sort of displaced from the beauty and the bounty of the earth and the potency of the flowers, her own femininity. her love and this cosmic love even. And she's kind of trapped in this world that is now a little bit rough for her and is even making her a little frail and, unhealthy because of it. Surrounding her is an energy that was also sort of tied up, but is being, from what I'm perceiving, sort of helped by light beings, by like a community of beings that are beyond itself, helping it to become untethered and free again and empowered, and stand strong on something that is a bridge from maybe something unknowing to something unknown, but there's support for this transitional state. What could be sort of hidden from the main character in this reading's vision as well, and hasn't even surfaced, is all the resources that can come through when they humbly ask for them, when they give themselves to almost that sacred way of sacrifice, of giving back to maybe the ancestors, to something that they came from, a lineage, and respecting that and being part of that work. And that's where great resources will come to them that will provide nourishment and physical needs as well. And we see even more that the whole thing that becomes the center, that becomes pivotal, and just the focus of the need here is the community coming together. It is profoundly well themed in this reading. And something that may be releasing from this person's reality is this sense of being alone, having this higher vision, looking to the cosmos for help, looking for signs for help, being sort of detached in this way that doesn't communicate well with other people and is so apart and different and isolated that they're not really functioning for any greater good. They're still beautiful and spectacular in their own right, but there's so much more to give in the way that they see how the stars work together as a community. There's something so stunning about all of that coming together, and that's sort of the vision that this person is holding. Okay, so thank you guys for joining me. What a pleasure to read for you. Please check out any of my other readings. I do a reading every time our moon changes signs, which is about 3 times a week. I also do daily chakra attunements. I choose a different chakra for each day of the week, and I hope to be posting a divine feminine and masculine reading every week too. So look out for those if you're interested. Stay well. I'm sending you many blessings, all the peace I can muster for you and joy. Love you lots.